Hi students, today let us start KCET questions on inverse trigonometric function. The first question is, if f of x is equal to sine inverse x, then its domain is. So you need to find domain of sine inverse x. So in PU1 you have learned sine x. We have restricted the domain to have bijective function. If a function is bijective, then only it is invertible. So to have bijective function, we have to restrict the domain. So we have restricted the domain from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 closed interval to the range is minus 1 to 1, correct? So in this domain, this function sin x is both 1, 1 and on 2. Since it is on 2, codomain must be equal to range. And sin inverse x exists. So sin inverse x is defined. Interchange the domain and codomain. So it is defined from minus 1 to 1 to closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So the domain of sine inverse x is closed interval minus 1 to 1. Correct? Therefore, the domain of sine inverse x, domain of sine inverse x is closed interval minus 1 to 1. Check the option. Option A, open interval minus 1 to 1. This is not correct because we have to include minus 1 and 1 also. Therefore, option B, closed interval minus 1 to 1 is the correct answer. Thank you. Hello students. The question is the range of sine inverse x. As we saw, sin x is bijective in the domain minus pi by 2 to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 to minus 1 to 1. Correct? Here it is bijective. So sin x is bijective. Therefore, sin inverse x exists and sin inverse x is from where to where? It is minus 1 to 1 minus 1 to 1 to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So you are interchanging domain and codomain of sin x. Therefore, the range, since it is on to codomain, is same as range. Therefore, range of sin inverse x is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Therefore, the range of sin inverse x is closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Option B is the correct answer. Thank you. Hi students. The question is the domain of tan inverse x. The domain of tan inverse x. How do we define tan x? Bijective function tan x. It is from where to where? Minus open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 to r, because sin pi by 2 is infinity, sin minus pi by 2 is minus infinity. So whole r is the codomain. Since it is 1 1 and on 2 in this, tan of x is invertible. So tan inverse x is from where to where? It is from R to open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Correct? Therefore, now can you tell me what is domain? Clearly domain is what? R. Therefore, domain of tan inverse x is R. So option A is the correct answer. Therefore, domain of tan inverse x is R. Option A is the correct answer. It should be option A. Okay. Thank you. Hi students, the question is the domain of tan inverse x. You know tan of x is defined from where to where? It is from open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 to r. Correct? In this domain, tan is bijective. Therefore, tan inverse exists. Tan inverse of x exists. So, how do you define tan inverse x? Just interchange it. So, r from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Now, can you tell me what is domain? It's clearly R. Therefore, domain is R. Check the options. So, option A, R is the correct answer. Therefore, the domain of tan inverse x is option A, R. Thank you. Hi students. The question is the range of tan inverse x. So the range of tan inverse x you need to find. So tan x is defined from open interval minus pi by 2 to open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Codomain is R because tan minus pi by 2 is minus infinity. Tan pi by 2 is infinity. The whole R it covers. Therefore, in this range, it is bijective. Onto also, you can find tan inverse x. Inverse exists. It is from where to where? Can you tell me? From R to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So this open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 is codomain since tan inverse x is also bijective, that is onto. Therefore, codomain must be equal to what? Range. Therefore, range is, what is range? Range is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, check the option. Option B, minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 is the correct answer. Thank you. Hi students, the question is the domain of secant inverse x is option A minus 1 to 1 closed interval, option B minus 1 to 1 open interval, option C minus infinity to minus 1 closed union, closed 1 infinity open, option D 0 to infinity open interval. Okay, how do you define sec x? What's the domain? Secant x is defined 0 to pi, correct? Since it is not defined at the point pi by 2, you have to eliminate that to r minus open interval minus 1 to 1. Okay, this is bijective in this domain, correct? So, therefore, secant inverse x is defined, and it is defined from r minus of -1 to 1 to 0 to pi minus pi by 2, correct? So the domain is, can you tell me what is domain of secant inverse x? So domain is r minus open interval -1 to 1. But in the option it is not there, but we can rearrange this as, see, you have to remove -1 to 1. So minus infinity to, wherever my infinity is there, it is open interval -1 union. Next you have to remove 1 also. Therefore, what you can do? You can take closed interval 1 to infinity. You have to remove 1. Therefore, take closed interval. Therefore, option C, minus infinity to -1 closed union, closed 1 to infinity is the correct answer. Thank you. Hi students, the question is, the range of secant inverse x is option A, closed interval 0 to pi, option B, closed 0, open pi by 2 union, open pi by 2 to pi closed. Option C, closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Option D, 0 to pi by 2 closed interval. So secant x is defined from where to where? It is from 0 to pi minus pi by 2 to r minus -1 to 1. In this interval it is bijective. So secant inverse x exists, and interchange the codomain and domain. So r minus 1, 1 to 0 to pi minus pi by 2. Now can you tell me pi by 2? Can you tell me what is the range? Codomain is the range. Therefore, range is closed interval 0 to pi minus pi by 2. You have to remove pi by 2. But this option is not there in the options. Therefore, rearrange it. How do you rearrange? Closed 0, pi by 2 you have to remove. So 0 to pi by 2 minus or union, it is union, you have to take pi by 2 to pi closed. Okay, 0 and pi should be there. Pi by 2 should not be there. So in this case, you take open here. Therefore, option B is the correct answer. 0 closed 0, open pi by 2 union, open pi by 2 to pi closed. That is the required answer. Thank you. Hi students. The question is, domain of cos inverse x is. Earlier classes you have studied cos x is bijective in the domain where to where it is 0 to pi 2 minus 1 to minus 1 to 1 closed interval. So here it is bijective. So on 2, therefore codomain must be equal to range. So cos inverse x is defined. So cos inverse x is defined from where to where, can you tell me? Just interchange it. Minus 1 to 1 to 0 to pi. Can you tell me what is the domain now? Therefore, domain of cos inverse x is, domain is minus 1 to 1. Check the answer. Option A is the correct answer. So option A, closed interval minus 1 to 1 is the correct answer. Thank you. Hi students. The question is, the range of cos inverse x is option A, closed interval 0 to pi, option B, closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, option C, closed interval 0 to pi by 2, option D, open interval 0 to pi. You already know that cos x is bijective in the domain where to where it is 0 to pi 2 where minus 1 to 1. Since it is bijective, it is 1 1 and on to cos inverse x exists and it is defined from where to where? It is minus 1 to 1 to 0 to pi. Therefore, can you tell me now what is the range? Range is, therefore range is what? Closed interval 0 to pi. Okay, got it right? So check the option. Option A is the correct answer. Closed interval 0 to pi is the range of cos inverse x. Thank you. Hi students. The question is, if sine inverse 1 by 2 is equal to y, you need to find y. Option A pi by 3, option B 2 pi by 3, option C pi by 6, option D pi by 2. What's given? Sine inverse x or sine inverse 1 by 2 is equal to y. You need to find y. So sine inverse 1 by 2 is equal to y implies you can write sine y is equal to 1 by 2. This implies for some value of y, you are going to get sine y as 1 by 2. What is that y? What is that y? You know that sine 30 is equal to 1 by 2. Sine 30 means sine pi by 6 is equal to 1 by 2. This implies y is pi by 6 or sine inverse 1 by 2 is pi by 6. Therefore, y is equal to pi by 6. Got it right? For which value you are going to get 1 by 2, you have to check. You know that sine pi by 6 is 1 by 2. Therefore, option C, option C pi by 6 is the correct option. Got it right? Thank you. Hi students, the question is cos inverse minus 1 by 2 is equal to what? Option A pi by 3, option B 2 pi by 3, option C pi by 6, option D pi by 2. Correct? So can you tell me cos inverse of 1 by 2 is equal to or for what value of cos angle you are going to get the answer as 1 by 2? Cos of x is equal to 1 by 2. What is x? Can you tell me? For what angle you are going to get it as 1 by 2? Clearly x is 60 degree, correct? Cos 60 is 1 by 2. Therefore, x is pi by 3. But in this case, you have minus 1 by 2. In the second quadrant, you know that cos is negative. So, therefore, you have to add pi by 2 for that. So, what is pi by 2 plus pi by 3? What is that? So, it is, how do you calculate? How do you calculate? Is it pi by 2? Hi students, the question is cos inverse minus 1 by 2 is what? You need to find the value of cos inverse minus 1 by 2. So before finding cos inverse minus 1 by 2, let us check what is cos 1 by 2. What is cos inverse 1 by 2? So for what value of cos x, you are going to get the answer as 1 by 2. Cos 60 is 1 by 2, right? What is cos 60 in radian? It is pi by 3. Therefore, cos inverse 1 by 2 is pi by 3. In the second quadrant, cos is negative, correct? So, we take cos pi minus pi by 3 is equal to minus 1 by 2. Because cos of pi minus cos of pi minus pi by 3 is what? Minus cos pi by 3, that is minus 1 by 2. Therefore, pi minus pi by 3. So it is cos of 3 pi minus pi by 3. That is equal to minus 1 by 2. Correct? Therefore, cos 2 pi by 3 is minus 1 by 2, implies cos inverse minus 1 by 2 is equal to 2 pi by 3. Got it? So cos inverse of minus 1 by 2 is 2 by 3. Check the options. Option A pi by 3, option B 2 pi by 3, option C pi by 6, option D pi by 2. Therefore, option B 2 pi by 3 is the correct answer. Option B 2 pi by 3. It must be 2 pi by 3. Hello students. The question is cos inverse minus 1 by 2 is equal to what? Option A pi by 3, option B 2 pi by 3, option C pi by 6, option D pi by 2. So before calculating cos inverse minus 1 by 2, let us see what is cos inverse 1 by 2. That means for what value of cos x you are going to get the answer as 1 by 2. For what? Hi students, the question is cos inverse minus 1 by 2. Before calculating cos inverse minus 1 by 2, let us see first what is cos inverse 1 by 2. Okay. So cos of 1 by 2, cos inverse of 1 by 2 is equal to what? Or for what value of Hi students, the question is cos inverse minus 1 by 2 is equal to what? Okay. So before calculating cos inverse minus 1 by 2, let us first calculate cos inverse 1 by 2. For what value of cos x You are going to get the answer as 1 by 2. Cos x is equal to what? X is equal to what? So cos 60 is 1 by 2, right? That is cos of 5 by 3 is equal to 1 by 2. This implies cos inverse 1 by 2 is equal to 5 by 3. Correct? But you require cos inverse minus 1 by 2, isn't it? So, in the second quadrant, cos is negative. So, you need to take cos of pi minus 5 by 3. That is equal to minus 1 by 2. Okay, you need to take pi minus 5 by 3 because second quadrant cos is negative. Calculate it. It is cos of 2 pi by 3 is equal to minus 1 by 2. That implies cos of minus 1 by 2 is equal to 2 pi by 3. So, when depending on the quadrant, you have to decide positive and negative. In the second quadrant, cos is negative, therefore you are taking pi minus pi by 3. So pi minus pi by 3 is in second quadrant and cos of pi minus theta is minus cos of minus theta. So that's why you are taking pi minus pi by 3. Got it right? So check the option. Option A pi by 3, option B 2 pi by 3, option C pi by 6, option D pi by 2. So option B 2 pi by 3 is the correct answer. Thank you.